Earlier this week, I came across something called the shopping cart theory, and it grabbed me. Not because of its profound perspective, but more because of its simplicity. And in truth, I feel like I've known this theory all my life, but I've never quite put it into words. The theory believes that the shopping cart is the perfect test for self-governance in a free society. Its argument goes, to return a shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one in which we all recognize is the correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There is no situation other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it's not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will kill you or fine you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You must do so out of the goodness of your own heart, because you believe it to be correct, because returning the shopping cart is the right thing to do. This theory even goes a little bit further, and it says a person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with a law and a force that stands behind it. Therefore, the shopping cart is what determines whether a person is a good or bad member of society. You know, for the past few weeks, we've been hearing from Paul's letter to the church in Rome. And it's a long one with tons of instructions for these new Christians. Let love be genuine. Hate what is evil. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in suffering. Contribute to the needs of the saints. Extend hospitality to the stranger. And the list goes on. Do you want to be a good Christian? Well, it's as simple as A, B, C. You know, but sometimes I think we don't appropriately value these simple markers as that of a good Christian. I think often we tend to focus more on the grand or more on the existential crises of the time, and we do this to such a degree that I think Christian work often finds the Christian paralyzed, because there are indeed extensive problems in our world, in our country, in our community right now. We live in a world that needs more nurturing than we give, a country that needs healing from division and fear, and a community where economic and educational disparities ultimately will hinder us all. There are indeed big problems in this world. And so why wouldn't the Christian church be a part of the solution? And so we try. We travel around the world and go on mission trips. We bring medicine to the impoverished. We volunteer at soup kitchens. We lead protests and calls for change and justice and compassion. And we uphold these grand gestures as the epitome of the Christian witness. Because indeed our church, our faith, our God calls us to be a part of the solution to all these paramount issues: creation care, reconciliation, hope, dignity, empowerment. These are pillars of our church's mission. Yet I wonder, when we solely focus on these grand gestures, does the simple work of Christ get lost? Or perhaps differently put, as we seek to save the world, do we forget to put back our shopping carts? For such a Christian state, where literally when I moved back to Mississippi from seminary, the first question from my neighbor was not, "Where y'all from?" It wasn't even, "What's your name?" It was, "Do you go to church?" In such a Christian state as that, it pains me to say, I find a lot of shopping carts scattered across the parking lot. Folks, I think Christianity would do well to get back to the basics. And if you ask me, I think Paul's letter today is a great place for us to begin. Be genuine. Don't outdo one another. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in suffering. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Associate with the lowly. Do not claim to be wiser than you are. Do not repay evil for evil. If your enemy's hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink. If it is possible, and I love this, as so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with one another. Your grand gestures are wonderful. But always remember that Christianity is a faith that is relational. That's precisely why God came down in flesh and blood and embraced us, person to person, human to human. God came down so that we might have an example of how to treat one another with kindness, compassion, and empathy, to give us all a glimpse of hope for what we could be for one another. So we will continue his ministry through the kindness of our actions, be they big or small. We will believe that what we do for the other matters. How we love, how we act, how we treat one another in our day-to-day life, it matters. And so we return our shopping carts because it is the right thing to do, because it makes the worker's job easier. It will open up more parking spots for others. They won't scratch people's cars, and because doing so will genuinely make your priest happier. Because I will see your action, your faith in action, even in the small stuff, especially in the small stuff. And they will know that you are a Christian by your actions, by your love, every day. I love you. God bless you. Goodbye for now.